Today's stream, we're going to be going over Rust and the Linux Toolbox, seeing different things. Every Rust stream I do, I like to start it off with a little tidbit from the chapter I read the prior day. Do I ever use this stuff? Do I know exactly what's going on? It doesn't really click just yet. But I read about memory allocation in Rust yesterday, and it's interesting how it does everything. Understanding like between the nuances between stack and heap and that different allocation. I honestly could sit here and bore you with that chapter, but frankly, I was just like, okay, well, heap you can grab from the middle of, and stacks like more of like weights on the end of a bar. And you can only do them in order, kind of, except there's some nuance with every programming language. And that's the gist of that memory. I'm sure there's a lot more to it, but I honestly was a little bit above my head. So we'll see what happens with that. We'll go into some other stuff. And we'll see how it, I think eventually it'll click. I think it just, persistence is the big thing with programming. Other changes as well. Over on YouTube, we should be seeing some new stuff. Include everybody, and YouTube should actually have a good experience. I know the last couple times we've done streams and such, it's been a little bit dicey on YouTube, and I want to make sure we give the best experience both on Twitch and YouTube. So you can choose whatever platform you want, or you can mix and match them. So like if you want to watch the videos over on YouTube and then use something like Chatterino to pull in Twitch chat, because YouTube chat kind of sucks a lot of times. I still love the IRC portion of this. So if it was me watching myself, that sounds weird, I would probably do like Chatterino and then pull in a browser window over here and watch the video over on YouTube, because I don't get ads. So I could get the best of both worlds. Or you could just subscribe and not have to worry about ads too. You know, I'm happy with both. Yeah, I wish YouTube chat was IRC based. It's really why Twitch chat is so awesome, is because of the IRC based thing, where YouTube chat can be a little bit rough. But we've got a pretty good happy medium now, and it's just months of trial and error. And I think today's stream will be the best stream we've done on YouTube, and Twitch streams are usually always solid too. So I think what we'll do is pull up and see what we're going to be doing today. What are we going to do today? Linutil, how many pull requests do you think we got? 18. Holy smokes. Quite a few. And I've been having quite a fun time with it. I've been subscribed before Drunk Titus Tech. Oh, Gita, you're an OG. You're an OG. Oh gosh, there will never be something that beats either the Arch Linux first install drunk or the drunk Debian install that was like 7 hours long. Those were hot messes of streams, but I look fondly back at them. Can we have your SL status config? You know, I was just on my laptop the other day and I was like, damn it, I need my SL status. Where is SL status? Okay, there it is. Did I not get status? Lazy G, Titus, upload, update? Oh. I'm trying to update directly from Suckless. Oh, that's no good. Dursley, thank you for the tier 1. 13 months. It's so good to see people hang around that long. That's amazing. It was good, but so long. Yeah, these days I try to keep my streams to about 2 to 4 hours, depending on what's going on. Fix my bash first. That's true. So let's see, what do we have? Let's look, let's remove git, and let's remove license, remove readme. What else do we have? I feel like there's something else going on here. No, this should be fine. So let's come back. Let's move SL status into DWM Titus, CD DWM Titus. All right, git status. So now we have a couple changes, not too much. I feel like this is going to be good. Lazy G, add SL status. Oops, forgot to finish that out. So this is directly from Suckless. Very minor tweaks. Really, all I did was just add. Well, actually, I don't even think I modified anything directly from Suckless. So this is a pretty basic SL status with just date, time, memory usage, CPU usage. Those are really the only metrics I care about. Again, I'm a no frills kind of guy. I just want my system to work, and I want to know if there's like a runaway process or something. I can tell, oh, is my Windows not launching because I'm only using 6 gigs of memory. So if we go to Virt Manager, we'll probably find that Windows 11 is running. Why am I only using 6 gigs? Windows 11 usually chomps down a good... I feel like it's errored out or something. Let's see. I bet you it doesn't even pull up. Oh, did I optimize this or something? Huh. Not really. No. Okay. I wonder why my... Oh, I enabled shared memory. That's right. I was like, why isn't it taking up like 20 gigs? Because of shared memory. Okay. Linux just does a great job of memory management. Yeah, I think I was doing shared memory with QEMU, and that helped cut it down. So instead of the 20 gigs that you normally see, it's sharing more resources, and it's not allocating the big chunk, which is nice. Okie doke. So that's all gravy, and we are ready to rock. Let's see these PRs. What to look at first. Let's start from the bottom and work our way up. We still have this one from a month ago. Bitmap font rendering toggle feature from Tavo, which is interesting. Move search bar widget to a separate file from Alfonso, which I like most of his commits. Introduce global theming and commits. Do we have any back and forth? Here's the thing, you removed a lot of intended functionality instead of unrelated features like setting Capuchin Milka theme. The point of the module is to set up a global theme. So what you're doing is unnecessary things like downloading files from GitHub using a theme that could break other things and produce unwanted effects. Yeah, I don't think I removed any functionality. A little bit back and forth here. A little bit of spiciness back and forth between the contributors. Perhaps we use exclude category XDG. Okay. All right. Yeah, let's see what the actual commit looks like. Let's see what my take is on this. A little bit back and forth between everybody. Oh, and MicroWin. Yeah, the big thing with MicroWin now, Windows install in less than 5 minutes. So we can install Windows in less than 5 minutes with MicroWin. So very, very good process there. I do need to make a video on the main channel. I keep, I don't know. I don't know. I think I just like burn out on YouTube or something. I don't know. If I don't feel like just making videos anymore, I guess that's something I need to get back into. I just haven't really felt like it. And I've like, hey, just been obsessed with just learning a lot of different programming. And I feel like I get a lot of back and forth with people with GitHub from Linux utility and Windows utility. And I kind of like the back and forth there compared to a lot of the GitHub comments I get, or the YouTube comments I get. So I've kind of just, I don't want to say I've grown tired of making videos on YouTube, but I don't know. I don't think it's like, I don't know. It just feels different now. I don't know what it is. And YouTube itself, it's just in a weird spot right now. All it likes is like reaction content and me reading articles and just crappy clips and then drama. And I just feel like all that does is ruin people. And it just doesn't feel constructive. And I know I can make content that's not that, but I don't know. YouTube definitely feels different lately, where I just haven't liked the current meta of YouTube, and I just have I'm just not compelled to make any videos. And I, you know, some people are like, aren't you a YouTuber? Don't you make money on YouTube? And I'm like, yeah, I do. It's not a lot of money, and it's not like enough to make me do it. It's just, it is nice. I still like putting stuff up there, but the big thing I want is to put more good in the world than other things. And I look at a lot of the stuff that's on YouTube right now. Like if I just pull up my feed, I'm sorry to sidetrack here. So early in the stream and we're already sidetracked. And it's, I don't know. God bless. Prime's just leaned in to the YouTube meta. Why is my shorts? I thought I had the U block. Oh, I have U block off right now. Let's turn that back on. Sorry. I was like, oh, why playables? I don't know. I guess maybe I need to reset my feed or something. I mean, Beard Meets Food. That's quality YouTube right there. That puts a smile on my face. John Oliver's kind of depressing. I don't know. I just look at it and I'm just like, I don't see anything that's interesting. Oh, look at that guy. Look at that handsome devil right there. All right. I'll get back to it. Just having a midlife crisis where I'm just like, meh. Yeah. And I think the big thing is, yeah, I right now I figure, it's kind of the off season of YouTube, and at least my off season. And I feel like, you know what? I can learn a lot more skills. I can learn a lot more about programming. I can improve a lot of my repos on GitHub, and then come back later in the year and really hit it and have some really cool contributions for folks that like really improves people's lives. And I think that's the thing I'm just obsessed about now. So it's not necessarily, I think YouTube's changed. Maybe I've changed. I've fallen for the old "you've changed" comment, and maybe I have changed. I don't know, or maybe I haven't, and I'm just burnt out. Oh, I don't ever feel like YouTube's a hard job. That's for sure. I've always feel very privileged to be able to make content there. a lot of the channels I follow right now are taking free punches at Intel, and some with AMD and the 9000 series being yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean, right now, my take on the Intel thing is, well, one, if you have an Intel 13 gen, what is it, 13th and 12th gen, or is it 13th and 14th? 14th gen's not a thing, right? Is it 13th? I can't remember. The latest generations of Intel. Just update your BIOS. Make sure you set it to a proper thing, and you're fine. It won't burn out on you. 13th and 14th. Thank you, chat. So yeah. That's the big thing with Intel. I don't think really anything more needs to be said. I've been running a 13th Intel inside since launch, and it's been fine, but I haven't been doing any, well, I say I haven't really been doing too much, but I have gamed quite a bit on it, and I have done a ton of videos. All these live streams get edited down on that system, and it hasn't burned out. So I've actually put it through some pretty good ringers, and but I did update the BIOS as soon as all this came out. I was like, okay. So I did that and just did a Intel failsafe for the voltage after doing the BIOS update and a reset. And then for AMD, like the 9000 series, it's about a 5% uplift. And I feel like people are complaining about that because Intel is known for having like 10 or 20% uplifts. And it's not like substantial, like, oh my God, you have to upgrade this generation. I'm like, well, 5% is still decent. For it being a new line, I don't understand why people are complaining about that. So I don't know. I look at it all and I'm like, I think a lot of people are just nothing burgers and they're just blowing it out to, farm some views. And I'm not hating on them, hate the game, not the player. But at the same time, I'm like, that's just the state of tech YouTube. I think a lot of it is YouTubers need something to talk about, We're in the middle of like, usually summer's a pretty slow time in tech YouTube land. And then during like the fall time, it really ramps up going into the holiday season. Most YouTube channels have just become Gossip Girls drama. Yeah, I try to stay away from it. It's really tempting though. I don't want to hate on any YouTubers that are doing the drama thing, because at the end of the day, they're doing it. There's a huge incentive to do drama. Like, the last video I made on my main channel, here, I'll just pull it up. I'm sorry. This stream's going to be a hot mess today. I went and worked out prior to it, and it was about 100 degrees here. So I did it in the heat. So I'm a little bit fried on the brain. So this is Titus Tech Talk, but let's go over to the main channel. And this one I did, and I didn't really want to even make a video about CrowdStrike, but I was just like, do I hate money? Because this is a super easy 5-minute video explaining what happened, how to fix it, and it's not probably my best video. I did it in about 30 minutes, and I just tossed it up. But it was something, but I didn't beat it to death. Like, somebody really made just tons of CrowdStrike videos, and I get it. It performed very well. It's just, yeah. So I try to make videos and I try to just make sure there's no fluff. I think that's the big thing. And lately there just hasn't been much to make, so I haven't really felt the need to make a video. And the big video I do want to make is Linux laptops, and that's something I've been kind of putting off. And I think I need to address that, where I want to really take the 3 like marquee Linux laptop manufacturers that I see, like System 76, Tuxedo, and K-Focus, because all of those are like first level things and kind of explaining how they all break down all that, how they work, the support surface that they have, why Linux laptops are so unique in the fact that if you just install it like on a Dell system, a lot of times you'll do like a kernel update and then all of a sudden you're like, wait a second, I'm running 10% slower. What happened here? And you might have had like a regression in one of the updates in the kernels, and what the support structure of those companies look like. Specifically, like System 76 is interesting because they have a massive support surface. So I'm kind of interested in that. I might do a video on that, or I might not. I don't know. I mean, I think I need to, and just trying to think of the best way to do it. But anyways, again, I digress. K-Focus Hyperland. Yeah. Are you going to try Framework? Well, Framework right now is not like a level 1 support type deal. So Framework is, they have Linux support, but they just test it initially. And I don't think they actually test or have any custom repos on their laptops for Linux. So if you buy a Framework laptop and you're a Linux user, I feel like you're going to get a worse experience than any of the big 3 I just mentioned when it comes to Linux laptops. So Framework right now, I think they only have a handful of people that work on Linux over there. One of them's a good friend of mine, Matt Hartley. So I love what they do over there. It's just, it's a very small team, and they're just starting out, and maybe they become and create their own, repos and things like that, so they can lock kernel versions and test each regression, so you don't have any regressions on updates. But as it is right now, I don't think I'd recommend a Framework laptop for a Linux user. So yeah, System 76 also offers a core boot. I mean, it's kind of crazy all the things System 76 offers between core boot, the coming Cosmic team. I want to say that's like 15 to 20 people that they're doing for Cosmic. And then you have all the hardware support on top of that. And then you have the software guys behind the scenes that are testing each kernel reversion. Same thing with Tuxedo and K-Focus. They also test with each kernel version. So you don't have any regressions on updates, which is neat. So if you are a Linux person, you're doing like hardcore Linux stuff, I think all 3 of them are pretty good, depending on what your needs are. But I'm always interested to hear. I mean, it's just something that I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I did get an email the other day. God, I wanted to say yes to this, and it's such a bad email. This is first world problems, but you guys will laugh. It was such a useless product, but it was hilarious at the same time. It was a water-cooled micro PC. Oh God, it was so terrible. Yeah, I think it was something like, what, I think it might even have been a B-Link. Was it a B-Link? I can't remember. No, I don't think it was B-Link. No, that wasn't it. It was Geekum. I think they had like a water-cooled mini PC, ridiculous. It looked like this. Oh, whatever. It's an ad or whatever. But yeah, it looked like that, but it was a mini PC. And I was like, do not respond to this email from this brand. But I was so tempted. I was like, that's so ridiculous that I want to do something with it. But I was like, no, don't do it, Chris. You will regret it. It was so silly. But I was like, no, you do not need that. Nor should you ever contact that. That video will not do well. You are not a hardware review channel. But man, it does look kind of interesting. It was completely silly. Yeah, I'd tinker with it for science, of course. Would I ever use something like that? Hell no. I don't think I would. Maybe I would. It was one of those things. Free parts. Well, that's the problem. Yeah, that's the problem with a lot of mini PCs, though, is once they burn out, you're done. Like, there's not, you can't really scrap them like you can with a lot of like the desktop computers. That's why I think desktops are just always my favorite. Water cooled Raspberry Pi. I feel like that video's been done a lot. I would have to hit up my buddy Jeff Geerling for that. Everything Raspberry Pi, I'm always hitting Jeff up. I love Jeff Geerling too. He's one of the, like, I don't think anybody has ever said anything bad about Jeff Geerling. He's like as clean could be. And I've met him in real life. And just an amazing dude. I love Jeff Geerling. I can't say enough good things about him. He truly is. He's just a very thoughtful person. And I love Jeff. You will never hear a drama piece ever about Jeff Geerling. He is untouchable in my eyes. There's not very many YouTubers I'd ever vouch for, but I would vouch for Jeff Geerling. All right. Come on. 30 minutes into the stream. Let's go. I've been putting it off. Let's see. Automatic global theming. We were going to look at the code. He would. All right. So he's removing the Linux Toolbox script from the global theme. Looks like he's making a new function called common Qt. He's getting rid of my Qt6c. Changing all this around. I wonder why he's doing that. It looks like he's just changing the name of it for some odd reason. Cavantum looks like he's getting rid of Cavantum, I guess. And then he's grabbing the Capuchin theme from here. He's grabbing, okay, Qt5 CT. Do we have many Capuchin lovers in the chat? I've never been a big fan of Capuchin. To each his own. Overall, I don't really like this. I feel like this should have been its own separate thing. He's basically taking something that already had global theming functionality. I wasn't like forcing a specific theme on people. I was just making sure we had global coverage. So dark theme would be applied among all things, whether it's Qt or GTK. By doing this script, it would make sure, hey, it's dark theme. And then if you don't do the script, you know, you'd have light theme everywhere. So that was the purpose of the script. It wasn't to really theme things out. So a good idea, but I'm just going to close this one up. It's changing too much. So this shouldn't have changed the global theming or removal of Cavantum. It should have been its own theme in a new subfolder. That's all I really have to say about that. All right, next pull request. Denied. Get out of here with that. Get out of here with that nonsense. No. I'm kidding. Thank you for the contribution, even though I denied it. Move search bar widget to a separate file. All right, Afonso is usually pretty solid. All right, so we have JLU saying, hey, please squash your commits. That's always a good idea. This could be simplified. Got some back and forth with Alfonso and JLU. And all right, good. A little back and forth. Accidentally forgot to close the comment. Sorry about that. Squash and done. Yep. JLU endorses this PR. I love it. All right, cool. So then we have a merge. Simplify that. And then it's mentioned in the PR 152. We are already to 152 over here. Impressive. It's only been like a month on this project. Let's see. Soapy Dev was the one doing it. Show commands based on distro family. All right, this is something different. I wonder why he mentions this. Link this pull request. Okay. Yeah, so rewriting some of it. This one looks like it was an example of what's good. Let's look at the actual code of it. See if we can't do this. So clearing out style text and widgets from the Ratatouille UI. We have a new crate search bar, removal of search input and in search mode. And we now have just a mutable search bar variable. Search bar here. So he's pulling this out of main, which is good. So it's going to be much more modular, it looks like. So we should see a search.rs coming up. and this is where it's getting called. So now we have the new style and search bar over here. You can see probably a lot of this code reappear like in search mode. Let's see, you should see that over here. Okay, that looks pretty good. I like these changes. So let's go to 120 and try them out. Let's go. Oh, cursor. I gotta say, I do love the fact we are so spoiled today. You got LLMs, you got like in predictive text all the way with like copilots, you got all the language servers so you can look up different things and get, you know, real-time linting. I mean, it's just so cool. All the different things in programming kind of blows my mind as I think of how we were doing it back in my day. And now it's like so cool. Like even if I screw this up, it's not even a big deal because I easily just rewind or cherry pick a PR. All right, so now we're gonna switch over. Let's do a cargo run of this. So we're just gonna go over to LinUtil. Let's do a pull. We're on current branch, all up to date. Cargo run, and you can see, hey, I kind of like how it highlights the search. That's actually new. And if we're back, man, that's clean. Very, very clean. Nice. All right, game on, man. Hey, Chris from Hurst, Texas. All right, Al. Nice. Good to have you here. Local. Yeah, that's a very, very good PR. I liked it a lot. That was an easy one. That was an easy one. They won't all be like that, but I do like the easy ones. All right. Let's approve this. We already did approve it, actually. Let's merge and squash it. Well, yeah. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Next PR, shall we? Keep going on. So this one's going to be implement tab list. LJ made this one. LJ usually has some really good PRs as well. Right now, debloated Windows 10 or debloat Windows 11. Don, I would say debloat Windows 11. If you're reinstalling, you're close to the end of life of Windows 10, might as well make the plunge. I wouldn't go out of my way to make the plunge, but if you're going to be doing a reinstall, might as well. Why did you pick Rust for LinUtil again? Rock? Chat picked Rust because it's, I guess, the most popular thing. If it was left to my devices, I probably would have picked Go and done like a bubble tea type thing. I think that probably would have been made the most sense and probably the most popular for like a CLI utility. But chat was like, Rust, you want a memory safe application? I was like, I don't know. As a guy that grew up with like C and C++, I'm kind of like, meh, these kids and their fancy memory safe programming. To me, Rust is a little weird because of like all variables being immutable by default just feels strange. I look at it and I'm like, still weird, but okay, that's memory safe. And not having like a garbage collector is kind of cool, I guess. But yeah, overall, I don't know. I feel like Go probably would have been easier with bubble tea, but I'm up for a challenge. So, I mean, it was a really cool learning experience. So, I mean, I don't regret using Rust, and having with chat, there's quite a few cool people like Just Linux User, Alfonso, LJ that pops in from time to time, and other contributors that are going to probably jump in the project and submit stuff. It's really kind of cool to see some of their code and being able to review it, because I learned quite a bit. I probably learned the most from the PRs that are given to me, and then occasionally like the general concepts from reading just a Rust book. And then the other bit, I need to actually code more, and I think that would help a lot. But we'll see. Yeah, but that's the gist of it. Are you going to add ZRAM and ZSwap to LinUtil? Maybe. We'll see. I bet eventually. There's still a lot of things I want to get out before that, though. It's not something I'm going to do first thing. How do you manage cursor size in X11? Ugh. I don't have a really good answer for you on that. It's ugly. I really like Hyper Cursor Project from Vaxry over on the Hyperland team. I think everyone should adopt that standard. Hypercursor was very, very well done, and it makes sense. The current cursors that are used in Xorg were designed by a crackhead. True story. He's probably dead now, so I don't think he's going to attack me. I think it was designed like 30 years ago. But literally, why scaling sucks so bad in Xorg is every bit of the cursor. Like, I don't know if this is like a 20 pixel cursor or 16 pixel cursor, but there's different, like I think just standard PNG files for every single pixel size of that cursor. So instead of it actually scaling and using like some sensible method like SVG or something like that, this was designed before I think SVG was even a thing. So its designed is so archaic. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, I do feel bad about roasting a dead person. I'm pretty sure the person that made this is dead, but I don't know, maybe not. He's very old and he's not watching my streams. I know that. If he is alive or she, I don't know. Okay, so we're doing a tab list from LJ. The description of this PR: most functions have been moved to app state. It now contains a focus enum, which specifies the area is in focus, along containing the command of the preview if necessary. Navigation is accomplished using left or right and up and down keys, and their VI equivalents. Testing behaves as expected when run. Search works correctly. Searches through all tabs, including hopefully directories. The tab list will allow for many more features to be added while simplifying navigation for the user. Looks like a quality of life. The UI is no good. That'll need to be worked over time. The tabs are just a simple list for now, much like the right pane. Let's look at the video. Got a 19-second. Oh, I like that. What do we think of that? I feel like that's much more powerful instead of doing a full screen. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, LJ usually has some good ones. I really do dig it, though. Look at this. With the tab type system set up. Oh, that would be super clean. All right, well, let's check this guy out. That looks very, very cool. Now, if we look at the source, he is changing quite a bit, but adding tabs, looks like he's getting rid of list altogether. Really? So the whole file, huh? All right. And then we got the float. See what he's doing here. Nothing too big, it looks like. Self-content draw. Turns true if the floating panel is finished. Okay. Floating tab. Oh, floating text. So he's improving the floating panel. Honestly, there was a lot of bleed through on the current iteration of it. So there's times where if you had a blank line, it would actually bleed through behind it. So I wonder if that's fixed. We could actually test that out a little bit. Returning false. List gets removed. Main, let's take a look. So removal of list, adding of tabs. Event, he's getting rid of key code. Right, he's gonna do the capture. Kind of interesting. So we got that. Mutable state. And this is where we're pushing app state. Okay. And then looks like he's stripping out a lot of the back end. And that's going to be probably pushed over to tabs.rs, I bet you. Okay, so if state handle key, return okay. How's he handling that now? Okay, running command, float, and then really not much changed here. Just a change between how app state's done and temp path. So state, there we go. This is where a lot of the meat and potatoes of it is. Looks like state RS. Wow, so okay, this is quite a change. I dig it though. Let's check it out and then let's dive into the pull request. I'm really curious to see how it works. Okay, cargo run. Oh, got some errors. What do we have here? Use of unstable library lazy cell. Could have done much better if you went with bubble tea, probably. And I mean, we may still do something like that, Raz. Like I said, it's a lot of this is just learning experience as we go through. Let's see. Lazy lock, tabs RS, unstable library. I think we can fix it. Let's see if we can fix it on the actual PR first. I wouldn't want to merge this with it not able to run, especially with my limited knowledge. So let's just take this and let's come over to here. Bet you there's something. Let's make sure. Yeah, we're in LJ's. Use the stable alternative once cell from lazy cell. So including once cell from lazy cell. I don't know about that. If you're using a nightly version of Rust and want to continue using lazy lock, you can enable the feature by adding this to the top of your main ls or librs. I feel like this would probably be that, or is this a deprecated feature? It seems you're encountering the error when using lazy lock type of lazy cell feature, which is currently unstable in Rust. So they're saying lazy cell is unstable, but switching to once cell would be okay. Let's take a look at our cargo toml and the dependencies. I don't see the usage of like, I guess we could do once cell. Yeah, let's try. Hey man, when you're just learning, LLMs give you some ideas. Are they right? Most times not, but let's see. Let's see what we got. So we'll add a once cell and we'll just type that in. Let's go to the lazy cell variant in tabs RS. Was it only tabs on the edit? Like tabs, 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 and tabs. So we got 4 errors in total in tabs referencing lazy cell library feature. So if we come back into here, use the stable alternative once cell when it comes to lazy lock. PG, thanks. PJ, thanks you for the prime. Oh, yeah. Dukin, someone did. When it comes to the microwin ISO, that is getting fixed right now. Specifically, VMware had issues with the Ethernet, and Coding Wonders is actually working on that. A contributor that's done a lot of work on microwin. Oh, don't know if he's updated his Rust. I gotcha. Lazy cell is now available in stable. Should I update? What do you guys think? Should I use lazy cell with it, or should I use once cell dependency? Right now, I think if you just update Rust, so maybe my Rust is out of date. Update Rust. I mean, I think there's a Rust in there somewhere. All right, well, let's just update all that and maybe we'll catch it. Rust up. Oh, well, I guess I could cancel. But, it wouldn't be a tightest stream if we didn't at least do Arch on the fly. Yeah, too late. Do we have a Linux kernel? Ah, we did have a Linux kernel. All right. So anyways, don't just do a full system update like I've done. We should have done Rust up. Noted. So let's try Rust up. Let's remove that dependency. We did change the toml file. So back in our toml, we don't need once cell. I feel like chat's always trying to save me from myself. Sometimes without success. A lot of times I'm just like, destruction? Yes, please. So let's do that once we get... I'm going to wait for this to finish and then we'll do a Rust up. It does seem, though, like all the errors went away as soon as I did the system update, which is kind of odd, right? Anywho, let's wait for this to go. Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, how many times have I updated Arch on stream in the past? Oh, geez, what do we have? So I've been on Arch for 110 days. And you know me, I love breaking stuff on stream. That's like, I mean, that's what I'm known for. If I haven't broken anything in a week, something's wrong. And we've updated Arch countless times on stream now. And man, it has really done well. I mean, knock on wood, but I mean, it has been a trooper. I think we've only really broken it once, and that was a bad NVIDIA driver, which, well, that's NVIDIA's fault. Well, it really was updating to the latest kernel the day it was released, and then the NVIDIA drivers weren't compatible. That's why we switched to an LTS kernel. But still, I mean, if that was it, I mean, that's really not much. How do you get Twitch to work on Linux? I get unsupported browser when logging in either Firefox or Chromium base. Really? I haven't had a problem. Do you see 2 different NVIDIA cards on your system? Well, aren't you an eagle eye? You do. So this one right here, the 47 is what Linux is using. And then this one is the PCI pass-through. If you look over here, that's what we're doing. So we can go between them all. Remember to boot after update is done, please. Gray Elf, you know me too well. I was totally about to just be like, okay, that was good. If one is trying Arch and ARM processor, you know, Arch and ARM has always been one of the best spins of Linux on ARM architecture. I've always enjoyed Arch on ARM, probably more than any other distro. Even back in the days, I want to say almost 10 years ago was my first Arch ARM experience, and I was blowing out a Seagate install. Seagate used to sell these proprietary, basically NAS devices. I say NAS with quotes because they weren't, it was like one hard drive with like a very, almost like a micro PC, like, but even way crappier than a Pi, like almost no power. But you could load ARM, Arch ARM on it, and it was pretty darn good. Oh man. All right, well, let me see here before we get too crazy here. Let's shut this guy down. Microwin's pretty much finished. I think we still have some NIC drivers to deal with, like QEMU and VMware installs using Microwin. But Cody Wonder's getting close to finishing that PR. And once he finishes that, I'll probably make a main channel video showcasing Microwin. Yeah, it was a NAS box, but it was super cheap. It was like $100. And you could load really simple stuff. So I liked to load Arch ARM on it and do like an Apache server. So I was pretty scrappy back in those days where I just didn't have much money. So I'd use this throwaway hardware that had just this crappy proprietary Seagate garbage on it, and I'd wipe that out. You could do basically a firmware flash and then get in on it, and then load ARM on it, and it did really good low-powered stuff. So actually a good little test bed for this and that. Yay, thanks for the Prime. I feel like there was something else in here from the AUR, like Chatterino. We don't really use too much from the AUR. Most of this stuff doesn't matter, like reshade shaders I think I was using for some Bethesda games. Oh, there's my browser actually. Let's close this up. Let's close that out. And we'll do a rust up from Linutil as well to update it. I feel like all we had to do is update our system though. I feel like this PR will be just fine. So we'll do a rust up and then a reboot and we should be fine. But yeah, this is a pretty big update. Does seem like Arch updates usually are in like 3 to 4 gigs. Still using Thorium. Eventually I'll probably just switch back to Chrome or Chromium. I'm kind of no frills these days. I don't really feel like experimenting. So if Thorium messes up, but actually Thorium really has been pretty solid. I haven't really had any issues. Yeah, no Firefox. I'll definitely, Ladybird's definitely something I will try. Right now it's still pretty fresh, so definitely a lot of bugs. I won't daily drive Ladybird, but I would definitely install it just to, you know, pound around on it for a little bit. I think it's really cool that he's doing it. I hope nothing breaks. Well, if it does, then we got something else to do. No Vivaldi. Vivaldi actually I was my main daily driver from, I want to say 2020, and then I switched in 2021 to Brave. So Vivaldi was great until it wasn't. Vivaldi's always been good for me in Windows, but there was a spin of Vivaldi on an update in Linux, and it was ungodly slow. It had this massive lag when launching it, and it was on multiple Linux installs. So I ended up switching to Brave. Now, Brave always treated me pretty good. I always thought the crypto garbage that gets installed with Brave and some of its monetization schemes are shady, and I don't like that about Brave, but the browser itself's pretty solid. So a lot of people overlook that. Thorium, I've always had a good time with. I know it runs a little bit behind, especially when it comes to security patches. Usually it's about a month or two behind, and some people are not okay with that. So if you see an Elon Musk stream, you know what happened. I joke, but you know, browser hijacking is a thing. But overall, it's always treated me well. You know, would I recommend Thorium? I think It's a fast browser. It's pretty minimal, and the lead dev's been very responsive to anything I've had issues with. So I'm kind of like, yeah, I kind of like the independent, but it's a solo dev, so I don't think, you know, a big business should use it. But for an independent person like me, I don't really care. Can you please add Nord backgrounds to the utilities? Yeah, BCA, let's do that. Let's code that in when we get back on, after we do our rust up. Once Chatterino's built, this should be our last AUR package. Hate Opera, but loves Vivaldi. Yeah, Opera's a pretty shady company. I mean, after they did all those shady loans in the mobile space, you know, I don't think anybody should recommend any Opera browser. It's just not a good company, and you should not use Opera or any version of Opera. I stand by that. And I've turned down thousands of dollars in sponsorships from Opera GX. They do a very, very aggressive advertising campaign with YouTube, and that's why many YouTubers do recommend Opera GX, because they were paid to. But is it a good browser? Absolutely not. Vivaldi is light years ahead of Opera in my eyes. And the lead dev came from Opera, and that's why Opera and Vivaldi have some big similarities. But Vivaldi is no doubt a lot better than Opera. If you like that Opera tool set, the Opera look, you should do Vivaldi. I don't think Opera's China. I don't think that was one of the critiques of it. It was just, it did a lot of shady, predatory loans on browser, screwing people over, signing them up for these big loans at like a 30% APR. So extremely predatory. Okay, so here we go. We got that. We're still in here. So if we do rust up, rust up installs that. So if we do rust up update, this will download and update Rust on the main channel. It's kind of interesting how fast Rust moves. So now we're on 1.80 from 1.79. I bet you if we go cargo run, man, I think it's going to work just fine. Yeah. So we were just on the older version. Oh, God bless. That feels good. LJ did a good job with this. I'm glad I didn't screw it up. That's an amazing commit. So yeah, we will merge that. All right, well, let's give it a reboot after that and see what we have. Thanks for chat for making sure I didn't screw things up and start changing the code. That would have pissed LJ off, and I'm like, I don't want to piss him off. He had some really good commits. All right, here we go. HP Wolf Security protecting us. Let's do it. Me and the Wolf. I actually had the developer of this boot screen contact me via email. He was like, hey man, thanks for a lot for using my boot theme. And he was the one that designed this entire bootloader. I was like, that's cool, man. Well, thank you for making such an awesome bootloader. Really cool guy. Keep it up, getting inspired with my own toolbox. Good to hear, Tech Zero. I love it. All right, we're back. Look at that. Arch. What a champ. What a complete Chad of an operating system. By the way, I use Arch because, my goodness, it's been 110 days and we haven't broken it yet. Kind of impressed, actually. You know? Let's push you over to here. All right. Let's go get switch main. Get pull. Alrighty. Let's go to our pull request, right? The tabs, we're going to be pulling that sucker in from old LJ. What an amazing pull request. Such a cool functionality as well. And it's really neat. He breaks down a lot of it right here. Floating visual is always visible. With these changes, content field is now optional. Float type is held while the focus type is floating. Could you try to merge that PR into this branch? If it gets merged, then I can close mine. Can be taken separately. If yours is merged first, I can merge it in, discarding the changes. I think we shouldn't have any. Let's see if we have any conflicts here. It's becoming quite a big PR. Hoping this gets merged. Yeah, it's going to get merged. It will get merged. This branch has conflicts. All right. Let's approve. And let's see what conflicts we have. How are we going to resolve the conflicts, shall we? thought there was like a built-in conflict resolution we could do. So let's say we don't have an option to commit. We don't have an option to see the conflicts. So how do we do that? Open changes maybe? And do we have conflict resolution at all? Shucks. Let's look on the browser maybe. Let's come on over to linutil. I'm pretty sure when we look at this PR in the browser, it's going to say cannot be done. We're going to probably have to do like a rebase. Ugh, I hate rebases. But I doubt it'll give me any kind of anything but a rebase option. Oh no, it says resolve conflicts. Let's see what conflicts we got. So layout construction right here. Uh-oh. Now, so the column tabs is going to be LJ's commit where this was removed. If we look on, was that the main? I think it was main. Now, if we look at that top section, what was changed? Was that removed or was that added in a different commit? No, it was removed specifically here. So we'd want to remove that. Really, I effing love rebasing. It's awesome. Not joking. Man, rebasing is always nail biting on when you have a lot of contributors, just because when you rebase, it can be a little bit crazy. So we have this, yeah. So this is going to be the floating. It's going to look something like this for the tabs, and all this was removed. Okay. And that should resolve any conflicts. Let's double check. And we'll do a get pull. Let's see if it lints first. If it comes through with a green check mark on the linting, then we'll do a checkout, run it again, make sure I didn't screw up his code, and then we will squash and merge. What exactly is rebasing? So what happens with a rebase is your main branch and this branch, oh, look at that, it failed, differ. So there's changes that are made to the main branch before this was forked. So if the changes happen from the main branch and then the fork happens and then you have the PR over here, well, it's really easy to merge the two because this one's behind with no commits ahead and this one's just got the commits ahead. So you just merge, real seamless. But let's say another PR comes in over here when the fork happened back here. Well, now that main branch is ahead of the PR over here. And then you're like, oh crap. Well, okay, the PR is over here. What happened? And that's when a rebase needs to happen, where you have to make the changes to the main branch to seamlessly merge the two. But if you screw it up, you might run into something here. What happened with the linting? Okay, we got a private field. This is my bad. So this probably is part of the other PR we just did with the search bar. And that's from the past one. All right, let's fix it up. Let's see if I can fix it up or if I just make things worse. Half joking. All right, let's check out this. Check out that branch. You can see we're on LJ's branch, so we're gonna do a get pull. We're up to date. We do a cargo run, we should see those errors. And warning search bar unused. The search bar. So if we look at the last PR we did, let's look back on our commits and let's see what I did on this last one. So I think it was the cleanup search from Alfonso, and you can see the addition of the crate here and probably the search bar mode in main as a, let's see what we got. Let's go to main. You got the crate search right here. But if we look at here, are we doing mutable search bar or we still got the in search mode? I bet you, what line was that? This is all the way line 88. So if we scroll down, should be right in here, the search bar, but this got all pushed to app state. So if we go to AS state, oh geez, this is above my head. Let's see if I can't completely screw this up. Search bar, let search bar. We have that. It's not mutable. Rebaseagen. Let me think here. So this is not even being used. Create search bar. And if we look at this, I think what we can do here, let's go to the main. Since this is all kind of being redone in app states with the tabs from LJ, I don't think we're going to actually need the search bar declaration up here. I thought that was main RS, wasn't it? Main RS line 9. Yeah, right here. So right here, I would imagine we could just get rid of that. And then for the errors that we see, field theme instruct app state is private. Hey, Melky, how you guys doing today? Got a raid from old Melky. Oh, God. You guys are about to see a disaster happening on my hands. Complete noob. Messes around with Rust. Breaks things. That's what I'm known for. Breaking tons and tons of things. Yeah. I'm now been coding in Rust for a solid 2 weeks. Watch out. You might be thinking, Titus, I thought you were a YouTuber, not a programmer. And to you, I say, you're absolutely right. I am not a programmer. I did C++ back in the late 90s. I don't remember much from there. I remember dealing with pointers and memory. That was not fun. But that was a long time ago. I'd have a trouble writing a hello world in C++ these days. Back in my day, we used Borland. We weren't spoiled like all these kids with their language servers. We liked it that way. We liked to just code 100 lines, then hit compile, and then sit there and see all the errors spam at us. And then we pound around for another couple hours and then compile it again and go, oh crap, there's errors everywhere. You kids and your fancy code editors. And now I'm like, dude, you got predictive text, you got language servers, you got LLMs to check things. As a complete noob, I am just loving all of this. I'm like, God bless, this really is a renaissance. And I'm trying to get back into programming. So it's been a lot of fun. Right now we're dealing with a pull request and we're trying to, I'm trying to merge, or basically it's almost a rebase, but not really. We had two, yeah, it's a rebase because you had a pull request I accepted on the main branch and we're basically accepting another pull request, but it was forked before the other one was accepted. So running into a couple little errors, but shouldn't be that bad. What I like to do too, which look away. This is a little bit rough, but fun nonetheless. Usually, let's come into here, come into our state. And then I'm like, hey, getting an error. What do you think about that? Now, what are we using? Are we using Jippity? No, we're using Sonnet. so I kind of like to see, okay, what do we got here? To resolve these errors, you need to make the theme field and app state public. But here's how we can modify the app state struct. Do we really want to? Maybe. Let's look at this line. So let's go to the app state struct, which is right here. Public app state right here, and then public theme right here. Doesn't look like there's really much changing there. We need to make theme field of app state public. Right now it's not public, so interesting. You should add a secret button that forces format the users in directory. Yeah, we'll probably do some kind of pre-compile like we did with Windows utility. We added a huge, or actually OG, one of the contributors over on the Windows utility, added this massive pre-compiler that removed like extra white space behind things, so it keeps all the code really formatted. We probably should add something over here to make sure we don't have like extra spaces or added white space when we don't need it. No, all this is fine, but I do feel like this, if we look at the actual state, let's go into app state right here. Let's find theme. I know I could just hit apply here, but I kind of like to see it myself, write it myself, so I get some of that muscle memory. I don't know if that would work though. So really that's the only thing that's changing here with the public theme. Let's see what that does. It compiled, but we got some warnings. Let's see what that is. So now we got struct search bar is never constructed. Okay. Associate new, active search, deactive search, is search active, draw, and handle key are never used. So we have a whole bunch of just redundant code, probably from the old one. So let's look at that. I think we could probably just wipe out this whole section and then, because that is the same, right? Kind of interesting. I asked thoughts on unattended and just saw a clip from 2 days ago and all doubts were answered. Yeah, unattended's great when you're doing streamlined Windows installs. These days, I'd almost go as far to say it's mandatory for a fresh Windows install. Otherwise, you're going to sit there for 30 minutes or 40 minutes, where it could be 4 minutes. No, did I cut it off? Oh, no. Yeah, it's all good. Here, I'll lock that down. Yeah, I'm not sure about like game dev. I'm kind of curious. Like the farthest games I've made, I actually in high school redid Gorilla. If you guys remember QBasic, I'm kind of dating myself a little here, but QBasic had nibbles.bash and gorilla.bash, and I loved the QBasic iteration of it. So in C++, I rewrote gorilla.bash and made it a little more interactive, and rewrote all that for that game in C++. And it ended up getting banned in the school because more people got it. I ended up having like a leaderboard that people could do. So inevitably during like the computer class, most people started doing it and playing that instead of actually programming. And they ended up saying, hey, yeah, you can't do that anymore, even though it was a project I actually created in school. I learned QBasic in 10th grade. Yeah. I think it was around that same time. I was actually a junior in high school, so 11th grade for me. You should make the exercises in the C programming book from developers. Yeah, C's fun. It really is. I'm still learning Rust, and a lot of it I'm just like, God bless, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. All right, let's see what we got. This is going to be search.rs. This was changed and added quite a bit. Daggers, thanks for the resub. Tier 3, my goodness, man, thank you. Have fun at D&D, man. So here's the implicit search bar, and then we have the public search bar here. What I'm thinking, like all these functions are not really used, right? I feel like this is redundant. So, I mean, one way to find out. So you have mutable. So this is a search bar widget. Let's look back on our PR we took earlier. Let's go to search RS. So this is what was added in his PR. So you have the public struct, and then the implicit search bar right here, and then the handle of keys. Okay, so some of it isn't. Yeah, it is used, but I feel like this section wouldn't be. Let's look at the error. Reading is important. Associate items in this implementation. Associate items, new, active search, deactive search, is search, draw are never used. And then the search bar is never constructed. So I think this is a two-prong issue. So these are never used. Ooh, now we got problems. Nope. Maybe. Yeah, so I think this is, so there's this older PR. So we got LJ's PR. This does compile, by the way. So it is a functional. I just want to clean up these errors and make sure we don't have any redundant code. So this was done, this commit. Let's pull up the PR real fast just so you can kind of see what we got. We'll go to closed, and we're on linutil, right? Yeah. Let's go to Afonso, big refactor, made floats generic to show anything. That was last week though. Are we not on the most up to date? Let's go here, and we're going to go to closed again. I don't know why it's not showing that. We just merged this PR earlier. So here's the LJ one, and it was Alfonso that we did, but that's last week, so that's not the same PR. Let's look at the commit again. So I had the commit pulled up. Okay, yeah, merge request right here, 120. For some odd reason, this PR wasn't showing up there. I guess it was submitted this way, but this pull request moves the search bar logic to a different file for better organization. And I want to say when we look at LJ's PR, he was also doing the same thing, but we have a little bit overlapping code, which is causing some of these errors. RS means Rust. CH means, well, what is that? CH is, what is CH? I don't know what .ch is. You think SH maybe? That's shell. So .sh is shell. I don't know what .ch is though. Yeah, I think it's a different place. He could fix it easily. I mean, it doesn't break the program. I just wanted to kind of fix it and kind of clean it up a little bit. Let's see. Let's pull this up. You can suppress the warnings, which we don't want to do. The change will suppress the never used warnings. It's just not using those functions for some odd reason. Huh. Yeah, if search isn't there, need to find where it is. Oh, you meant sh. Yeah, that's just shell scripts. Just bash scripts. Bash scripts is my jam. That's something I'm pretty decent at. Rust, not really, as you see. Not my bag. But we're going to make it. Each stream, I'm getting a little bit better. It's a slow process. I'm old. What can I say? Is search bar even used? Let's see. We can just do a global search. And no. Does not even look like it's called or used. Well, oh no, not really. Yeah, so angry, that's what we got. I mean, technically. Let's see the implementation of search in LJ's. So this is the current PR, and you can see what LJ is doing right here. This is the PR we're looking at right now. The implementation of tablets, which is really kind of amazing. Let's look at his implementation of search. Oh, he's not even using search. Search is not even called in his program. Okay. So this whole thing, not even used. I think he should implement it though, because if we look back here, he's still using search and it's probably still in the main. Let's look at the main and let's just see search. Search. There's mod search. And we're on LJ's. Yeah, he changed the whole logic. He rewrote it somewhere. He created the search bar around line 86 in his PR. So if we look at line 86, this is the main. Actually, no, not on the main. Probably somewhere else. Which file, I wonder? Let's go search. So mod search, search RS, of course. State. This is where it was. So he put search in state. So the app search query is happening right here in the app state. It's just a whole different implementation of search. So you got the search text, search that. Let's clear this out. And I don't think there was search anywhere else. Yeah, so state is where he put everything. So the whole implementation changed. So of course, it's building just fine. But technically, we could probably just delete it. Come back over to here, cargo run, and then go to main and take mod search out, cargo run, it build, bash. Yeah, so the implementation's just different. I really liked how Alfonso put it in. It just, we could do a little more modular. I feel like I just wiped out Alfonso's merge because of how much the tab PR changed things. Yeah, so it would still work. It was just adding that in. I think so, Alfonso. Like when it comes down to it, I really like it being in a more modular so that we can easily see what's happening. So right now, it took me a little bit to get it, but search, all the search queries and everything are happening in the state RS file, which state RS is roughly about 300 lines. But if we take out like search, there's quite a bit of search functions in here. You can see right there. We have, we got update items, handle key, and yeah, no, that's about it. I don't see anything else. Yeah, I like the more modular approach. I mean, it's easier for me to read it, which is good. That's the big thing here is a lot of these things as I'm doing them, I'm like, oh, that's cool. But I want to make sure that we get it. I mean, almost, I don't mind merging it too. And then we could try and do yours on top of it. I feel like that would probably be even just as good. If we look at get state status, we do have modified and deleting of the search RS. Oh yeah, I can put my logo up in the top left. That's true. I think doing like an ASCII logo would be kind of cool, Drift. Yeah, I can show you. I think it's 16. Where are we at? Meslo 16. There you go. That's the font I use for my config. 1080p though. So if you're like a 1440, you're probably gonna want that at like 20 or 24. Okay, that sounds good, Pickley. Another way I kind of like to look at GitHub stuff. Let's pull up this. We're on linutil, fetch. Let's just discard these changes. We can see search here. We could leave those in, but frankly, I'm going to make these basic changes just so we have compile. And then you can add in the main a mod search, and then using the create search bar, and it should be fine. Let's make sure that builds. Cargo run. Yeah, you can see that. Cargo check. Okay. What is the linting option for cargo? I feel like there was something else. Drawn a blank. What is it to check the syntax? Cargo Clippy, that was it. Well, maybe it wasn't Clippy. Yeah, Cargo FMT, thank you. Format, all, check. Cargo Clippy. And then we got Cargo Check as well. So what is the difference between Cargo FMT, which is, I imagine, shorthand for format, all check, Cargo Clippy, and Cargo Check? What is the use case for each individual one that I've done here? Because in my mind, the formatting, I think, fixes any formatting like white space and stuff, probably like a cleanup. Cargo Check probably just is a syntax check. What the hell's Cargo Clippy for? Clippy's more verbose, so it gives a little more help than Cargo Check. Cargo Format changes the files if it doesn't have a -- check. And I want to say Cargo Format is mainly just for getting rid of like white space and basic cleanup. Okay. Check intends to build. Clippy is lints. Cargo Format is formatting. Thanks. I appreciate it. My smooth brain trying to figure all that out. I'm like, okay. I'll probably ask the question again next week. I get it though. All right, so that's good. If we look here, we just have a couple changes in main and state. And honestly, we could just do a fix here. Need to fix search modularity. So let's just do a commit. I don't know if I can do a git and push to this branch. Maybe I can. No, it's going to allow me. All right, let's do a refresh and then come back into the conversation. And I think we can do a merge now. So if we look, let's do a git switch main. No. Make sure we have no conflicts, which we shouldn't. Our lints should pass fine now too. Okay, sounds good. I'm gonna try Alfonso. We'll see how I do. All right, all checks passed. We're good for merge. Oh, Peter, you're just a C shill. I mean, honestly, I think like 80% of the what percentage of programs are written in C? What percentage of Linux programs are written in C? Why the C language still runs the world? Okay. Linux is actually mostly written in C with some parts in assembly. 97%. Wow. Is C or C+ better for Linux? I mean, I don't know why C++ gets so much hate. That's kind of wild. I don't know. Yeah, Microsoft's Windows kernel mostly in C with some parts assembly language. Linux is mostly C with some parts assembly. Mac is powered by C. I mean, if it all used Rust, maybe it would never crash. All right, I'm sorry. I'm just goading chat now. Clip, thanks for following. LM for the Prime. I don't know about that. That seems a misrepresentation. C++ gets so much hate because it's not really simple or elegant like C. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't remember having very many problems with C++. I enjoyed my C++ time. From what I remember, I loved it. All right, so this is good. Let's go to the next PR. That was kind of a fun example of kind of using Git, seeing some of the changes and other things. Gat, thanks for the Prime, man. Lots of new people in chat too. It's awesome to see. All right. Get system info on command start and export it to scripts. Interesting. Jav's a new contributor. Haven't ever seen anything from him before. All right. We could lower the barrier of entry for contributing commands by providing a shell that takes care of any distro-specific tasks that the scripts can leverage. There's first simple steps towards that. Instead of relying on every script having to import common script, I mean, that's kind of like my idea, but let's see. Just kill my baby here. It's very easy for us to do detection before running and exports those variables to a temporary shell. Yeah, this is This has been floated a couple times on launch, set all the variables up, so you're not calling common script. I'm sure it has its own merits. I still like the common script with just like common functions that I can call. And I like the implementation of common script better, but I understand why these PRs keep showing up. Oh, PJ, well, you're making friends with Peter. Peter loves some regular old C. You could add a yay install script to your linutil. You know, let's do that. I'm not going to make any decisions so much on this just yet. I think it's interesting. There's probably better ways than doing common script. I am going to approve and let that lint out. I don't think there's really much changing. Oh, yeah, never mind. There's a lot of conflicts between list, probably from the LJ commit that we just did. I really like LJs. A lot of these people are going to have to pull down these. Doing such a massive structural change to how it's built is going to cause most of these PRs to be closed or needed to be updated from the main branch. So a lot of people might just wait on a lot of them. So let's add something to it today, make some progress on that side of things. So we have application setup, we have system setup. What should we call this? We need to do paru and yay. What should we call it? Should it be part of system setup probably, or application setup? Or I feel like application setup should be distro agnostic. So I don't feel like that should be it. I feel like we should create a new subfolder called Arch. So these are distro agnostic, and then I think we make like a new folder and call it like Arch. And then inside of Arch, we would create a new file and call it yay setup.sh, and then make another new file and call it paru-setup.sh. And then if we look at like compile setups, what do we have? You have this different Linux toolbox type deal. So you have your common setup. Most of this is fine. I would copy that. And then for yay setup, paru setup. And then we call, I don't think install dependencies is probably needed for this. Check environment so we can issue our commands. And I feel like install dependencies is probably needed as well. This one's trying to do yay right here, but aur.sh. Be interesting. Fortran's a great language. Get out of here. Really? Next, you're going to be like, Kobolds was peak programming. I ain't buying what you're selling, Peter, on that. Maybe in 10 years, I might come around as I go completely all gray. All right, so I think what we'll do, I think we're going to copy most of this into here. We'll check and do a check. We're going to take this from the compile setup, grab our install dependencies. We can just change that. Not going to rewrite the whole wheel here, but enough. Okay. Now, since we're doing Nala and all that, let's just double check. We'll do a error code here. Let's get this. And we're going to just say unsupport a package manager. We got to make sure we're on Pacman. We don't need to do multilib. This is paru setup. So we're going to go paru. We don't need an and statement or anything here. If no command paru, then installing paru for AUR helper. Sudo packager no install base dev, so we can do that. We're going to cd over to the OPT directory, and then it's cloning. Honestly, all this is redundant, not needed, since we're going to just use the OPT directory. I kind of like the usage of the OPT directory. I think we might get rid of the Linux toolbox there and utilize OPT a lot more. I'm not 100% sold on that idea, but it's just kind of rattling around in my brain. So let's go paru. Let's look at the build guide here for installation. There's our clone and a simple make package si. So we're going cp there, do that. And then we'll just do a clone of the paru git. Then we ch own it into paru dash git. Oh, actually, no, it's just paru. I was like, wait a second. All right, so then we have that. And then we just cd into the paru directory and then do a make package si. Actually, I don't think that's, we look at the official install instructions, make package -si, make package no confirm. Yeah, that's fine. So there we go. So this would be paru's AUR helper already installed, or we'll just say paru already installed since we're being specific. I don't think we really need any of that. Let's echo out paru installed. So that's pretty easy. Obviously for dependencies, I don't think we're even using that. Let's get rid of it. sh echo files are undefined. I don't think we do any echo here actually. You are already gray. So get started with Fortran. It won't hurt you. Fair enough. I think you need a little logo in the upper right hand corner. Probably BCA. I think that's a good idea. We'll see though. Like I said, before we get fancy with logos or anything, I just want to make sure we have a really nice clean installer with everything there. Right, this looks good. I do believe for a common script, do we need ... Really? That's the solution? That looks crazy. Why? We're going up 2 directories. What is this doing right there? Why wouldn't it just be ... // for common script? Why did you add expands the directory path of the current script? This makes the script more robust as it will work correctly regardless of the current working directory when the script is executed. Without this, the relative path ... would be interrupted relative to the current working directory, which might make the directory where the script is located. By using directories as 0, we ensure the path is always relative to the script's location. Oh, did Paro have a dependency? Let's see. Just base devil, I think. Yeah, we already got base devil for the dependency. So this should install regardless. All right, well, that looks good. I just didn't understand. I've never actually used that, but it does actually look legit. So that would be the new starting point for the common script. We're going 1 directory, 2 directories, and then you'll see common script right here. So that's fine. And then Paro install. So for yay, let's fly through this, kind of fix it up a little bit too. Oh, let's just take this guy. We'll paste this in. Let's get rid of all of that. Like it. Pac-Man. We don't need that. Make sure yay is already there. Installing yay as AUR helper. We do base devil. We do the clone. We do the install. And then we'll echo yay installed. Perfect. Then for the rest of this, pretty simple. Script over here. Let's just shift, delete that, echo, unsupported package manager. Why are we getting a, then we have E, we have an unused variable. Okay, this seems excessive actually. Let's get rid of that, clean it up. Less lines, cleaner. Let's get rid of this. And that looks pretty darn good to me. What do we think of AUR helper? So we can install yay and paru through this method. I like it, I think. All right, so we got that. Let's pull down any changes. We are in the main branch, right? Okay. Get status. We have that. So we got these 2 files to add. Let's do a cargo run. I don't use both a yay and paru. Paru is based on Rust. A yay is Go. Pick your poison. I mean, both are sufficient. So then we got system setup, and we forgot to add subfolder. So let's look at that for system setup. Let's go to, it's actually pretty good. I think it's probably in tabs now. Yeah. So then you got under system setup, you got full system update, build requirements, that. I feel like we would do a node for Arch. So what this should look like, we can see an example of it down in the utilities. This gets pushed over. You have list node monitor command. So we take that as an example, come back up over to here. This one's going to be Arch Linux. And then for it, we will do list node. And this one's going to be yay AUR helper. And then that should be a command local file. Set up. Get out of here. Yes. Got that. Come back. Wait, what are you doing? What are you doing? Let's do a comma. Then we got paru. Local har. Perfect. Look at that. Copilot actually doing something good for once. What font do you use for Rofi? Meslo LGS, I believe. So this should be pretty good for that. Let's try to do an install. I don't think I have Yay installed here. Yeah, so we don't have Yay. We do have Paru, which you can see. Just do a Q. So Paru's installed. We can install Yay on top. I don't really care. Just to test this out. Let's do a cargo build now. So now our system setup has Arch Linux. We can go inside that. Now let's go Paru help. Paru already installed. Perfect. Let's install Yay now. So this should go back through. Install Yay. Okay. So OPT, you do not have write privileges to OPT. Okay, let's take a look at our script. Gamerlord, thank you for the prime. I know, Peter. It's sad that I'm using Yay on top of it, but you know, it's fine. I want to give the option for the people that like Yay. I mean, Yay is less bloated than Paru. It's 3 letters instead of 4. I can just see you frantically typing behind the keyboard. I think arguably Yay is simpler to type out 3 letters, and it's a little bit faster compared to typing Paru. I really don't care, honestly, which one. That's funny. C is 1 letter, case closed. That's true. It's true. Using the same logic. Does that technically make Xorg less bloated than Wayland? Oh, man. Oh, Xorg. Gotta love the Xorg bloat. It is insane. It's probably like 80% of Xorg is just bloat. Okay, so what am I doing? We're gonna go to Yay setup. This make package needs to be run with the super user. You have that. No. That should work. Is your cd opt, you're doing a sudo git clone, then you're doing a ch own recursive user, and then into Yay git. Why wouldn't that work? Let's look at Paru. No, that should work. Why? Maybe this dot. Let's get rid of that. Maybe. No, let's go to Yay. I think it was Yay that was causing it. Did it clone it though? It's there. Man, there's nothing in here though. Maybe there was something already existing and then it couldn't write to it or something. Huh. Kinda. Let's run it again. Let's go Arch Linux. Yay. Invalid group Titus. Yeah. What about this for syntax? You can actually do this. It's a shorthand. Technically, you shouldn't do shorthand for scripts, but I don't see a problem with it. Assigning just the user and then leaving the group out should technically grab the base group from that user and assign it on the ch own. So coming back into, let's do a listing of OPT. You can see it's there. So let's do sudo remove recursive opt yay. We'll get rid of it. Now let's go a cargo run again. You could do wheel or users, but I want to make sure it's as open as possible. So depending on different people's systems configuration, I would like it not to fail. So specifying users probably is okay, but I think doing it this method would be the most ideal. Let's do a long listing of that after, and just see what it got. It should technically be Titus users because the group should just grab the default group directory on a ch own. Yeah, par. That's the thing about a lot of these utilities is they always start off small, but as you just kind of chip away at them, it's like as people in chat go, man, I'm tired of, I want to install the AUR super easy. I was like, okay, well, we can make an easy script to do that. We just got to think of all the different contingencies for all the different installs. And then you just write that script. And then once it's done, well, now you got a one button install for all AUR. And then people can just launch the utility with the one line click and you're off and running. So that's the idea behind it. Add AUR helpers. I mean, technically, I should do this as a PR. Doing direct commits to the main branch, not cool. Oh, I mean, all right, I'm going to do better. Add AUR helpers. Bring my changes. I'm doing better on this. Look at me. Pro programmer here. Push to prod. Friday is tomorrow. Yeah. That's when we do it. That's how we do it here at the Titus Tech Group, LLC. Let's go and do initial commit. Let's do that. Commit, publish branch, and then we will do a legit pull request as it should be. So we'll go here. Let's compare and create our pull request. We'll call this add AUR helpers. This gives a install option for Arch Linux AUR helpers. There's going to be somebody that goes, where's Trizen at? And I'll be like, nobody uses Trizen, bro. Or yogurt. I think yogurt's, or UART, I forget how the hell you say that. That AUR helper that's like ancient. It's been depreciated for many, many moons. Paru Anye. That's going to be a new feature. I mean, it's kind of tested on my system. Then it installed. Right? Cool. Impact. No impact, no issues, and no information. Checklist. My code adheres to coding. I have performed self-review. I have commented my code. Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. I know this seems a little redundant, but I feel like if I'm telling people to do this, I should do it myself. We do need to probably update the documentation. Actually, I'm lying when I say I did that. All right, let's create this pull request. Oops, dang it. What did I do with that? Let's edit. Oh, out of space. Gotta make it look pretty. Could you add Nix package manager to the installer? Oh, that's a good one. I agree with that. Peter, nobody's going to say Pac-Man is going to have better syntax. Pac-Man's syntax is crazy. Absolutely bonkers. Made by an absolute madman. Don't get me wrong, I like Pac-Man just fine, but the syntax of Pac-Man is nuts. I think we can all agree on that. Well, maybe not you, but I'm right, you're wrong. There's going to be somebody that watches the VOD afterwards and comments and goes, Titus, I'm unsubbing. I can't believe you would say such bad things about Pac-Man. I'm like, you know, in what world does a -S mean install application? I'm just saying. Oh, don't forget the Nord backgrounds. What should we do with the Nord backgrounds, BCA? What was the idea behind that one? S equals server. So you're saying Pac-Man server, yay. Well, obviously it can't do that because it can't do AUR. Pac-Man server notepad. Vim. Okay, S stands for sync. I know. So you're saying Pac-Man sync Vim. And you're telling me the S is more logical than apt install Vim. I mean, come on, guys. That's a little bit of a stretch, is it not? Come on now. Put down that wacky weed. Be honest with me. The S compared to install for installing an app. Come on now. You cannot say that makes more sense. Your old brain. S obviously stands for setup. Okay, Vey, that's a little bit better than sync. It's a little bit better than server. Oh yeah, let's see. What was BCA saying? Let's see. Link to your repo. Oh, yeah. The Nord backgrounds. The Nord backgrounds. I think every stream I usually get out my Nord backgrounds. But I don't mind. What does Y mean? That's a mystery. Let's look it up now. Pac-Man. What does each letter mean? Okay, well, Pac-Man. Linux. All right, here we go. The usage. Thank you, ArchWiki. You're amazing. I love what you do. To install a single package or a list of packages, including, use the following command. But what does the list? Why is it -s? Does it mean single? Still like setup, I guess. Setup, I guess, makes more sense. They don't actually say what they mean. R remove, that actually makes sense. RS probably remove sync. RSC remove sync, and then do recursive dependencies. Why is it C? Oh, let's ask our beloved LLMs. Let's ask our future robot overlords. I agree. What are... Oh, let me not scream at it. What are the... Oh, what does the letters in Pac-Man for the Linux installer mean? Like -s or Y or C. Okay. -s stands for synchronize. This is used to install packages. -y stands for refresh the local database, but lowercase y. -u, upgrade installed packages. -c, remove old packages from cache. Uppercase R, remove a package. Q, query the package database. So putting it together, S for synchronize, Y for refresh. Why is Y a refresh? Because R is already taken. U for upgrade. Hey, I like Arch, but I think we can all agree the letters in Arch and Pac-Man, complete bonkers. That's the worst out of any package manager in any Linux distribution. Hands down, pure awful. But I love Arch. Don't get me wrong. Don't cancel me, bro. But I'm just spitting facts here. All right. We're good with this. I like it. Let's go Zlin Util. I knew you like your Xeon. What do you think about the new AMD 7950 3D? Especially since it's $500. Yeah, it's a good alternative. AMD always has the best budgets for a lot of the compute power. You're never going to really beat it from a budgetary standpoint. I always say, hey, if you need the power, you're probably better off going with AMD. I hate Catchy OS. I've never tried it, but I hate it already. I'm just so sick of people asking me about Catchy OS. just use Arch. That's going to be my new one. When anybody says, hey, what are your thoughts on Catchy OS? I'm going to be like, just use Arch. Every stream, people have been asking me about Catchy OS. I'm like, no, it's just another distribution at this point. Just use Arch. Then you can say, by the way, I use Arch without any asterisks. Hates it because it becomes famous. This is true. I am the kind of guy that would play a game and I pick the worst build, the worst class, just because no one else is doing it. I want her to be different. I'm guilty as charged a lot of times for doing that. But having said that, Arch is just simply better. Catchy OS would be nothing without Arch. So just use Arch. I saw Chris play Age of Empires 4. Yep, he does that. All right. I think this is good. So we got AUR helper. It linted perfect. We're ready to go. So I'm going to, from now on, when I make a feature, I'm making my own pull request, merging it in, so other contributors can be like, okay, the whole branch didn't just change out of nowhere. Titus did an actual PR. I'm going to do that everywhere. So I know it kind of defeats the purpose of creating my own pull request, documenting everything, closing it, merging it. But I think it'd be a lot easier for other contributors to see my work without it just going, wow, all the code base just magically changed behind the scenes. What happened here? And they can actually just refer when they go to the PRs. They can be like, oh, okay. So he did a PR merge there. And it's clean too. Long live Endeavor. Honestly, a lot of these, I know I'm already going to get a lot of hate comments about it, but use what is comfortable for you. If Catchy OS works for you, by all means, use it. Same with like Ubuntu and other distributions. If you want to use them, I mean, that's fine. If that's what gets your work done and it doesn't break on you, I don't see an issue with it. I think you should just use with what works for you and then go for it. Having said that, though, Linux is Linux at the end of the day. You can do anything you want to do in any Linux spin. Let's not pretend like a distribution is the end all be all. All it is a starting point. There's no distribution that's going to be right for you right out of the gate. There's just distributions that require more work than others. That's all we're talking about here when it comes to distributions in Linux. How much work are you going to need to put in, and what's the starting point, and what's your main purpose? So when you're like, what's the best gaming distro? You're going to probably go Nubara or Bazite is usually my recommendation. Both have fantastic starting points for gamers, but you're going to need to install a bunch of extra stuff. Well, then you're probably going to want to go Nubara because it's more hackable and you can add a lot more to it. There's not really that immutability atomic style that you got with Bazite. But if you just want something that works and you're kind of a noob, Bazite's going to treat you a lot better because it's harder to break. So it just depends on you as a person. And frankly, if you don't want to use either, then, don't. It doesn't matter. You just got to do all those customizations that those distributions did for you. Torvalds had problems installing Debian. So I don't even know if he uses it. I don't know. Is he using Fedora? What does he use these days? I know he didn't have a lot of positive things about Debian, which is hilarious to me. So probably Fedora, I'd imagine. Most of the funding probably comes from the bigger companies. So it makes sense. And Fedora probably, well, a lot of the rel-based code is a little bit more secure. They do a lot more testing. I think when you look at like the CVEs, when you go CVEs by Linux distribution, by Linux distros. Let's see, what do we have? Do we have anything? I wonder if they break it down. I'm sure there's a breakdown by distribution. Vulnerabilities by, it's not going to give me by products, is it? Maybe. No, that's good Lord. Whatever. By operating system, probably. Tuxedo OS is, I don't think it's Atomic. I think Tuxedo OS is a variant of like Kubuntu. Yeah, I mean, it's just how the Linux community is. The Linux people get crazy passionate about their distribution. What do you think about Emacs? Will you ever consider using it? Yeah, org mode looks cool as hell, Parv. So yeah, I'm kind of envious of those Emacs users. I use Vim a lot, and I also use VS Code too. So I'm all over the place. I use both. But Emacs is interesting, and I think it's kind of cool. Org mode with Markdown and those types of things, it's appealing to me. Now, I wonder if it can break it down by vendor or something. Maybe, let's go vendors. No. By type. No. There's got to be something. Yeah. Whatever. I want to know let's see what they got. Top 10 secure distributions. Let's see if I agree with this article. Cubes OS, number 1. Off to a good start. Starting with the top most secure distro, Cubes OS is an immutable distro. It's compartmentalized. It's what Edward Snowden uses. Oh my God, it's a top 10 that actually got number 1 right. Mark this day down in your calendar. There's rarely a Google search where I run into a top 10 most secure distros where I actually agree with one. Okay, let's see if it goes downhill from here. Tails, number 2. Hell yeah, okay. Also immutable. Straight off the CD. You shut off the system, all the data on it disappears. Like it. Parrot Security OS. Debian based. It has a good set of tools. I don't know if I'd call it super secure, but I guess it could be. It has decent setups, and it's more of a plug and play kind of thing. Not much in the way of compartmentalization, and obviously you're not going to run into the cubes or immutability of Tails. So Kali right behind Parrot. I do like the fact they put Parrot in front of Kali. Kali gets way too much hype, and look at that. An overhyped OS, but for many pretty reasons. good night. This person, whoever wrote this article, I like him. Hunix. This is actually kind of funny. I think Hunix, they do a good way with networking side of things. And I want to say Cubes copied a lot of Hunix's networking directly into Cubes OS. Linux Kodachi, I've never used. Looks cool. It could feel like holding the power of a ninja sword. All right. Black Arch. Again, I've never installed that one either. Looks cool. It looks like just Arch with a bunch of universal tools. Heads OS. Never used either. Security focused. Privacy advocates. Resource conscious users. Yeah, it does look pretty minimal. Is that like, what is that? XFCE? Or is that Mate? One of the more lighter weight. Pure OS. Ugh, GNOME. Gross. And then Alpine. Alpine's always solid. Very, very minimal. And it uses an OpenRC, so I always like that. Man. All right. Written by Bytebuster X. Dude, solid article. Look at that. That's nice. It's so rare you run into a good article on the webs these days. Alpine is not even GNU Linux. Yeah, well, Alpine's Linux. Just doesn't, I don't think it has much of the GNU's tailset or user space. You can't send a link. Oh, yeah, because of YouTube. We had a whole bunch of shenanigans happening with YouTube. Must be AI ranking. Usually most articles is Parv, but I don't necessarily disagree. Honestly, the first, like the top 3 that I really care about is it organizing Cubes and Tails being at the top. I think it deserves the top spots. Everything else is kind of just a matter of more of a feature-rich set for a noob coming to Linux that wants to do security. I don't think many security people would actually use those long-term, where you probably would do more of like a cube setup for something more permanent if you were concerned about security. But like Kali, Parrot, and many of the other ones listed, most of them just already have all the set, like a burp suite or Metasploit and all that stuff preloaded on the system. So that's really what you're doing with those systems or those distros. I mean, frankly, if you install regular Arch or you got Debian, you could just install those yourself and, I mean, be about the same, in my opinion. Yeah, most people don't know. I really hate Kali just because of the bloat. It's extremely bloated distro. You have like all these weird options like Windows mode, so it makes it look like it's Windows. I'm like, why? It's very much like a script kiddie distro in my opinion. So I'm not a big fan of Kali. Parrot to me, I think is more sensible for security researchers because most of the tools they have are there, but not like a whole bunch of other crap like you get with Kali. So I do like that Parrot was ranked higher than Kali. But again, I'm not like a security researcher and I'm not huge on security, obviously. Me being a prominent Thorium user over here, a couple revisions behind on my Chrome version. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, I wanted to compare the total CVEs for each distro. From what I remember, Starman, what you get with the CVEs, Debian actually has quite a bit of CVEs. Same with Arch, because Arch is so bleeding edge, you have a lot more vulnerabilities discovered, but they also get patched a lot faster than Debian. Debian obviously has a bigger footprint and a lot more people use it, so it also has a lot of vulnerabilities, where RHEL-based distros are usually tested for the enterprise environment, especially the RHEL itself, Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So you usually have a third of the CVEs that like an Arch or Debian would have. As much as I hate Red Hat and Red Hat-based distros usually, I'll admit when it comes to security in server, and when you look at the implementation of SE Linux compared to AppArmor, it's a better implementation. It's more secure. You look at how it manages things through SE Linux profiles and those types of things. It's easier to lock things down. Comparative. Oh, you got it? Debian is number 1, but they have the most market share as well. Thank you. That's what I thought. How many does Arch have? That's the thing. Starman says number 1 was Debian. I would imagine Arch would be pretty close. Arch is #1 on Steam. But I think that's just what you get. I don't think there's much surprise there. I'm surprised there isn't a major security-based distro that is based on Fedora. Yeah, Parv, I guess that is kind of surprising as well. What VPN would you use on an Arch-based distro? I don't recommend any VPNs. VPNs, I think, are kind of a scam. Unless you're looking for geo-unlocking, some kind of browsing, if you're doing any kind of torrenting. It makes sense in those two regards when it comes to geo-unlocking, torrenting. Probably the most practical use of a VPN that everyone should benefit from is public Wi-Fi and public, just any kind of public hotels, coffee shops, those types of things. You should probably use a VPN to encrypt your traffic. I think that's wise. Another use case, but you could also host your own VPN, whether it's on a VPS or at your house, and VPN into it instead of paying for a VPN. So if you're paying for a VPN, in my eyes, that means you're doing geo-unlocking or torrenting. And, if you're going to go that route, it just depends on your country and what kind of deal you can get. I'm not too keen on it. To use it for security is a little bit laughable in my eyes. When it comes to VPN, like large VPN providers, you get, Nord, Express, all the ones that all the YouTubers shill. And why I say it's laughable for security is you really trust all your traffic, all your browsing data through that company. That seems kind of wild to me. I don't know. Obviously I don't trust my ISP, but I definitely don't trust those VPN providers. And why so many people blindly trust all their traffic getting filtered through, Lord knows what other traffic is going through those VPNs. Oh man, that just sounds crazy to I don't see the logic behind it. So that's why I'm always like, VPN, sure, if you need it for those two things, but otherwise it seems silly to me. I mean, even when it comes to like Proton or Molvad, the people that are a little more reputable, the main issue with them are, what other traffic are you going to be alongside with? Is there going to be, you're going to probably have more scrutiny coming out of those places, and those are bigger targets for big countries. Like when you look at like the Five Eyes and a lot of the surveillance system we have here in America, man, Molvad and Proton would be, I would imagine, probably high priority targets to install some kind of monitoring or see exactly what comes in and out of there. I don't see that would be much more secure than not even doing a VPN. Very, very little. It's not doing much to obscure your traffic. So I don't know. I just don't see it. When people say VPN for like security or any of that, I'm like, it really depends on what you're doing, but I would never trust my security or privacy to any VPN provider that you pay money for. It just seems not logical. Five Eyes is old school. It's a much bigger club now. Yeah. I mean, I've talked about it on stream before about how very many people don't understand our current state of privacy and surveillance in the world. And it's very vast, and most of it is happening through your cellular device and cell towers, those types of things. That is where most of the surveillance comes from. Very little actually from your computer these days. You'd be shocked at how much data is getting collected just from logging into YouTube or just from a lot of different things. But to say you can be secure or private, I mean, you can mitigate some of it, but it's a very difficult endeavor. Yeah, and I mean, just like a too long didn't read for those people that are like, hey, what's going on with the US? Like, let's say I'm an American, and let's say they want to spy on me and my activities, right? That's actually illegal, kind of. So they kind of skirt the law here, especially with how, you get to the 3 letters. Not to get my tinfoil hat on, and I'm not trying to attract any like security or privacy people, so don't email me about this stuff because I'm not going to respond. What happens is, let's say the UK all my data, every data through the internet in America is copied, and there's different relays. I think Johnny Harris did a video about all these different places in America where all of the data going through the internet is being copied and looked at. Not obviously by humans, but a lot of it is fed into algorithms and very traceable. So that's actually illegal if your government's spying on you. But they still do it to us, mainly because they route all that data over into like the UK and then back. And there's like a loophole that exists there to where they can spy on all citizens of the US. So I imagine many other countries and like the Five Eyes, or, you know, it's obviously been expanded since then, do the same thing. So they could spy on you and get around and skirt many of the laws that exist by just including these other countries because it's more of a global thing. It's kind of crazy, but I don't get too lost in it. I just know, hey man, if you do anything electronic, just be wary. There's a good chance that's getting tracked and documented, and it doesn't matter if you're using a VPN or not. There's a good chance it's going to be found out, and if you're doing something real shady, they'll know where you are. So yeah, like it depends on what you're doing, but a lot of the reports of, oh, this VPN got raided, and God, what was it? I read a book not too long ago. It was about dark web and how they infiltrate big organizations. Let's say you're torrenting or something like that. That's mildly illegal. They don't care about you. It depends on how bad you break the law. But how I see it, if I was an operative for one of the 3-letter agencies out there, I would infiltrate Molvad or Proton and get a backdoor. Some way, somehow, I'd make that happen. I think it's within their power. And if I open that up and I got that access, the last thing I would do is give that up for something less than like a giant drug lord or something like way bigger than anybody watching this stream or I'm capable of doing. Somebody like a really bad dude. When you get that level of access, you're going to be going after those guys. And there's a good like secure telephone. I think it was out of Canada. They were using Blackberries and stripping them down. It was in the late 2000s, early 2010s. And I think it was the FBI got access to that company, and they used them for 3 to 5 years and then collected all this data against all the drug cartels around the world. And then all in a swoop of, I think, 24 hours or something. It was a global effort. They hit like all these big people and took them down, all from this really high price. I think they were paying like $300 a month for like a secure cell phone. But the whole company was compromised by one of these 3-letter agencies. And yeah, that's the thing. If you break the law digitally, it's not will they see it, it's are you a big enough fish for them to care? And that's really what I'm getting at here. But for those people that are like, there's a no-log VPN, there's no way anybody can find me, I got a bridge to sell you, because that's not the truth. There's somebody out there that has compromised them. It's just, how bad are you? If you're a real bad dude, yeah, you're gonna get somebody knocking at your door. That's just my thoughts. Anywho. All right, sweet. Well, I think this is a little bit productive day. I kind of went on a bunch of rants. I'm sorry for that. But the Linux utility is really coming up, man. I really love this new layout. I think this is really cool, how it's set up, and we're starting to get like the monitor control from last. That was really cool for like Windows managers. And then today, obviously, from an applications, actually, it doesn't show her what we did. Let's pull it. All right, 1 second. We'll fix this. So now we added AOR helpers, and each stream we're gonna add something like this that just makes it a little bit better. We need a dedicated channel for Chris's rants. Quite informative. Yeah, one day, Starman. One day I'll get it. I used to do little clips, but it's just hard to do. I don't have enough time, and I'm just like, I'm just going to do 2-hour streams, and then I'll put it up there, and I'll try to timestamp them, So maybe I'll do like a little security timestamp. And if it makes a clip, then I'll do it. But otherwise, I don't think I'll do a clip on the security just because it attracts the wrong folks. And I don't want to get those views. So yeah, that's my thoughts. But, oh, can you look at Fix My Bash real quick? I have a PR. Yeah, Raz. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at My Bash. So we got My Bash over here. Let's look at the PRs. What do we have? My Bash. And let's open up that. Oh, does not exist. What folder is this? Oh, okay. Let's go and cursor. Open recent. And we're going to go into... Oh, actually, I guess I redid... come on. You can do it. Let's go My Bash. Open that folder. Okay. Let's look at GitHub. Oh, we got a couple PRs. Let's see what we have here. That's Guru, Knight, POSIX compatibility. That looks interesting. Okay, cool. Oh, that's yours. Nice. Update font installation process. Update URL from Fire Code 2.3 to 3.2. Check accessibility. Improve installation. This can fix number 77. Yeah, I like that. Completely agree with your comment here, Raz. So let's take a peek at the code. What are we changing? Equals. There's my C++ coming out. Single equal sign, Meslo LGS. Oh, I was doing Fire Code for some odd reason. Interesting. Then we were updating the Get out of here. Where's that? One of these days. Zen mode. There we go. I need to use this more often. So a bit of changes. We got a temp file. I've never used the -- spider command on a wget. What does that do, I wonder? That's an interesting one, Raz. Does anybody else use the spider command on wget? What is that? Find missing content with wget spider. A free moving blog, blah, blah, blah. Wget official. And experimented with the spider flag, but never put it to any use. For anyone not aware, the spider flag allows wget to function in an extremely basic web crawler, similar to Google search or indexing technology, and it can be used to follow every link it finds, including those of assets such as style sheets, and log the results. Turns out it's a pretty effective broken link finder. Oh, so let's say there's a redirect on a certain site, you could just do spider, and then it'll drop down into it. So even if there is a redirect, it'll find it and then pull it. But it does not tell it to download anything. That's cool. So it sees if it's broken or not. And then you got the queue, show process. That's another cool. I need to use this in my aliases for show process. I think that's a good one. And then we grab that, unzip it. Sweet. Installed. Like it. Not much else changing here. Doesn't look like any changes. I think that was the bulk of it. Really, it was just a bunch of font fixes, which I knew was kind of screwed up. And changing to Meslo LGS, which I needed to do, been meaning to. And then fixing my fat finger equals on the DNF. Maybe that was when I converted it from Bash. I don't know. But all that looks pretty good. As far as like packager and some of this, though, we might bring this in-house eventually. But overall, I really dig it. This is good changes. What did I do for ZenView? I need to look. ZenView hotkey VS Code. What is that? Control K or Z? All right, Control K, Control Z. Huh. Nope, that's not it. Control K Z. Ah, okay. Control K Z. Oops. Oh, that got rebound in cursor. Yeah. So cursor Control K pulls up a prompt. So you go Control K, it actually pulls up the. That's funny. Just escape is what you need to do. For anybody using cursor, there you go. But yeah, this looks good, man. That's a very solid PR. Appreciate you calling me out. Let's approve that, and we'll do a squash merge. All right, that is nice and merge. I wonder, what is that? Linutil alias. Ah, that's cool. That might actually come later. I might look at that. What is he changing? Oh, he's just doing a curl for a Linutil. The problem I have with this alias is I actually used the Linutil command Well, no, I use cargo run mostly when I'm doing it local. And if I'm running the binary, like if we go to linutil, we can see under release, I think it is. Which now that I'm thinking about it, cargo. Ooh, did I get, maybe it's target. No, build. It's build. So if I do linutil here, that's what, okay. How I'm doing the distribution for linutil, I think I might pull all this in-house and then do a git ignore for the build, target, all those directories, and then use it just a GitHub action to make a release. And then the release gets used on the start and start dev. Start dev would be pre-release and start would be regular release. It's kind of how it's set up right now, but I need to iron that out. Oh well, another day, another day. That was fun. All right, y'all. I'm going to shut it down for the day. It was a blast. Thank you all for hanging out. Hopefully the YouTube stream was a lot better this time. I didn't see anybody popping in chat, so I think we've got that all ironed out. And I'm looking forward to it. I absolutely love tackling this every week. I might have a fun April 1st joke for this next year. Pretend to switch to BSD. Linux became too corporate. Oh, that'd be good. I would like that. I might do something like that. We'll see. I'm on GitHub. I might list. Like the thing is, Parv, I don't mind. Like when it comes to GitLab or GitHub, I really like them all. I use GitHub just because it's all free and I can do tons of actions and different stuff that I just don't get when I use like Git or GitLab or Bitbucket. There's a lot of other ones. I think one was a code something. I like their layout. I like the way it looks better. But at the end of the day, GitHub gives everything to me for free, and I'm like, sweet. But at the same time, it is Microsoft, so I always have contingencies in the back of my head for a lot of my stuff. Should anything ever happen to my GitHub, I do have ways to pull it down, and I do have some local replication so I can push it up to like GitLab or something, just in case. It's always good to have like a contingency or a backup plan. But for now, yeah, GitHub's so feature rich, it's impossible to compete with them. But it's not lost on me that it's only a matter of time. Yeah, Codeberg, thank you. It's only a matter of time before Microsoft screws up GitHub. I'm not an idiot. I know that's going to happen one day, but not today. And if it's not today, we're going to keep using it until, keep riding that gravy train until the biscuit wheels fall off. And when they do, we won't be surprised. We'll be like, well, it was nice it lasted this long, and then we move on. Because at the end of the day, it is only a matter of time before Microsoft screws it up. But that's okay. Yeah. He uses a bloody Kafka. Oh, man, I hate Kafka. I understand why it exists, though. Yeah. All right, y'all. Peace. Have a good one.